The house had the kind of quiet that pressed on your ribs. It wasn't peace, it was vacuum. From the kitchen, I could hear my mother's heels clicking against marble, sharp and even each step a reminder that sound existed, just not for me. "Camille, the driver will be here at 7. Vivian called, voice smooth as glass. "Your speech can't sound rehearsed." "Darling, it has to sound natural." "I know, Mom," Camille said. Her tone had that gentle patience people reserve for toddlers and mothers who demand perfection. At the dining table, my father scrolled through his tablet. "The fundraiser starts at 8. He murmured, "Let's leave early. Parking around the hotel is impossible." No one looked at me. No one asked if I was coming. I glanced at the clock. 6:30. My 18th birthday. I'd decided not to remind them. A small test. Maybe a cruel one. Lena appeared, still in her pajamas, clutching the tablet she never put down. "Can I stay at Aunt Becca's this weekend?" Vivian smiled, already reaching for her phone. "Of course, sweetheart. I'll text her." Charles folded his tablet. "Don't forget the rehearsal dinner tomorrow." For Camille, Lena's voice brightened. "Can I wear the silver dress?" "Absolutely," Vivian said. "You looked adorable in it." They talked over one another, building a perfect chorus of plans that didn't include me. I pushed my plate away. "I'll do the dishes." Charles nodded without looking up. Vivian adjusted an earring. Camille scrolled through her phone, glowing from a dozen notifications. I stood at the sink, running water that was hotter than it needed to be. Steam blurred the edges of the room. I imagined one of them remembering, a simple happy birthday. Anything. "Don't forget to turn off the lights when you're done," Vivian said, sliding her coat on. "I won't." Camille breezed past me, perfume trailing like a signature. "Don't wait up, Sloane. It'll be late." The door closed behind them with a hush that felt deliberate. When I was sure they were gone, I dried my hands and opened the refrigerator. A leftover slice of cake sat on the middle shelf, white frosting cracked from the cold. I'd baked it 2 days ago for Lena's sleepover. The irony made me laugh once, quiet, short, almost mean. I packed a small bag, a few clothes, the diner application I'd filled weeks ago, the photo of me and Lena from when she was little and still looked at me like I mattered. Outside, the sky bruised purple. The air smelled like rain. As I stepped onto the porch light flickered on automatically, bathing the doorway in soft gold. It was the only part of the house that noticed I was leaving. I didn't slam the door. I didn't leave a note. The silence followed me down the street, but for the first time, it belonged to me. The city bus smelled like wet coats and burnt coffee. I sat by the window, my bag pressed against my knees, the straps cutting into my palms. The sun was barely up, and everything outside looked washed out half-asleep buildings, empty sidewalks, a sky unsure of its own color. The driver's voice broke the quiet. "Last stop, downtown terminal." I nodded, though he wasn't looking. When I stood, my legs trembled, the floor vibrated under me, metal humming like a warning. A woman with a stack of folders dropped into the seat across the aisle. "You look young to be traveling alone," she said. "I'm 18. "That's young." Her gaze softened. "You running toward something or away from it?" "Both." She smiled like she understood and didn't press. When the bus hissed to a stop, she said, "Good luck, kid," and disappeared into the morning crowd. I found a bench outside the terminal. My phone screen glowed pale against my hand. No messages. No missed calls. I waited 5 minutes. Then 10. As if time might remind them. It didn't. A voice startled me. "You waiting for someone or hiding from them?" A man leaned against the bench, mid-20s maybe. Hair messy, but kind eyes. He held a folded flyer. "Neither," I said, just sitting. He looked down at the paper. "They're hiring at the diner on Clay Street. My friend just quit." "You need a job." "Maybe." He handed me the flyer. "Tell Glow I sent you. She'll ask if you can handle the morning rush." "Say yes, even if you can't." "What's your name, Miles?" he said, pushing off the bench. "And you look like you need a place to start." When he walked away, the flyer fluttered in my hand. Clay Street Diner. Help wanted. I folded it into my pocket and stood. The morning wind was sharp enough to wake every nerve. As I crossed the street, I glanced at my phone one more time. The battery was nearly dead. The call log was still empty. I powered it off, slipped it deep into my bag, and kept walking. The bell above the diner door rang twice before anyone noticed me. Behind the counter, a woman with a gray streak in her hair flipped pancakes like she'd been doing it since the beginning of time. "You the one Miles sent?" she asked without looking up. "Yeah." I don't have experience," she snorted. Neither did he. He nearly set the fryer on fire his first week. "You got hands, you got shoes that grip, then you can work. I can work. Name's Glow." She slid a plate toward a customer, then turned to me. "Shift starts at 5 tomorrow morning. Don't be late. Coffee's free if you earn it." The first day was a blur of clattering plates and shouted orders. By noon, my arms shook and my apron looked like a battlefield. When Glow finally said, "Clock out," I almost cried from relief. Miles showed up at closing time, leaning on the doorway. "So, did she yell at you yet?" "She doesn't need to," I said. "Her eyebrows do it for her." He laughed, low and easy. "Then you survived. You hungry?" I hesitated. "Depends." "You paying only if you promise not to judge my cooking." We ended up in his apartment, small, messy, alive. He threw noodles into boiling water while I tried to remember the last time someone cooked near me without expecting something in return. He asked, "You got a place?" "Not really. Just checked out of the bus terminal." He nodded slowly. "You can crash on the couch till you figure it out. It's lumpy, but it doesn't snore." I looked at him. "Why?" "Because you looked like someone who wouldn't ask for help even if you were drowning." The words landed harder than he probably meant them to. I stayed. By the end of the week, the diner felt like another world. Glow shouted at everyone with the same affection she gave her coffee pot. No tears, no drama, no burnt toast. She'd bark, then slip me an extra slice of pie when no one was looking. One night, after the last customer left, she poured me half a cup of coffee and said, "You're quiet, girl. That's not a bad thing. But quiet can eat you alive if you let it." "I'm fine," I said. Fine's a word people use when they're running on fumes. She tapped the counter. "You got a story. Keep it. But don't let it own you." I nodded, pretending I understood. Later, walking back to Miles's apartment, the city buzzed sirens, laughter, someone's radio bleeding through a half-open window. The noise should have bothered me, but it didn't. For the first time, silence wasn't chasing me. It was waiting, patient, somewhere I could finally walk toward. The morning rush at the diner hit like thunder. Orders barked, coffee poured, plates clattered. I moved fast, memorizing faces before Glow had to shout them twice. When the crowd thinned, she leaned on the counter. "You pick things up quick," she said. "I try. You listen better than you talk. That's rare. Use it. But don't hide behind it." I wiped the counter. "I'm not hiding." "Sure you are," she said. "Just not ready to admit it." Miles dropped by during my break, holding 2 paper cups. "Truce gift," he said. I didn't know we were fighting. He grinned. "You glared at me when I ate your fries last night. You deserved it. You didn't even ask." He set 1 cup in front of me. "Then consider this repayment. Vanilla latte, half sugar. You strike me as the half-sugar type." Glow smirked. "He's flirting, sweetheart. Don't let him distract you from wiping tables." Miles raised both hands. "Just friendly caffeine diplomacy." When he left, Glow shook her head. "Men like that don't come by diners for the coffee." "He's just helping." I said, "Maybe. Just make sure you're helping yourself, too." That night, when I got home, a yellow post-it was stuck to my door. "You got this." No signature. Just the looping handwriting I recognized. Miles was tuning his guitar in the living room. "Saw you looked tired this morning," he said. Thought you might need a reminder. I don't collect reminders. I said, you should. They're lighter than regrets. I stood there, unsure how to answer, until the music filled the silence between us, soft, clumsy, real. When he finally looked up, he said, "It's good to hear you laugh sometimes." I didn't. "You almost did," he said, smiling without looking away. For once, I didn't feel the need to correct him. 2 years passed quietly, stitched together by double shifts, classes, and the hum of Miles's guitar through thin walls. The diner became routine, the kind that didn't hurt to repeat. Glow still barked orders like gospel. "Don't let the toast burn, girl. Toast's sacred." "Yes, ma'am," I said, sliding plates down the counter. She poured herself coffee. "No cream. You've got steadiness now. It suits you. I just work." That's what steady people say right before life tries to test them. When my shift ended, I changed in the tiny restroom, shoved my apron into my bag, and caught the late bus to campus. I liked the noise there. Keyboards clacking, students arguing about deadlines. It made my own silence feel earned. One afternoon in the computer lab, the system crashed mid-assignment. "Not again," I muttered. A calm voice behind me said, "Try unplugging it first." I turned to see a guy in a gray hoodie crouching by the next terminal. He had careful hands, patient eyes. "I did," I said. "Then it's the network." He smiled faintly, plugging in a spare cable. "I'm Ethan. Tech desk volunteer, part-time miracle worker." I nodded. "Sloan, full-time coffee addict." He laughed once. "Soft. Good. You'll need that to survive this place." That was how it started quick, easy, unforced. We met again over a broken printer. Then again when he stopped by the diner after class. Miles teased me endlessly. "Tech guy's into you," he said one night, tuning his guitar. "He's just kind's rare. Don't waste it. I'm not looking for anything." "Doesn't mean it's not looking for you," he said, plucking a note that lingered like smoke. Later that night, I sat on the couch scrolling through my phone. No new messages. Same blank space where my family's names used to live. I closed the screen, ready to set it down, then it lit up. Dad Mobile. My heart lurched before I could stop it. I didn't answer. I just watched it ring until it went dark again. Miles looked up from his guitar. "You okay?" "Yeah." I lied. Just a wrong number. He studied me for a moment, then nodded. "If it's the past calling, let it go to voicemail." The phone buzzed once more on the table, steady and hollow, before finally going silent. The voicemail waited like a stone in my pocket. I played it in the diner's back hallway while the grill hissed outside. "Hey, it's Dad," Charles said. Voice careful. "Been a while. We should talk. Your mother's asking. Call us back." Glow appeared with a stack of plates. "That the past? It wants an hour," I said. "Charge it market price," she said. "And don't pay in blood. After shift." Miles leaned on the alley door. "You look like you swallowed a beehive. My father wants to meet." "Where somewhere public," I said. "Somewhere with exits." He nodded once. "I'll wait nearby. I don't need a chaperone." "You don't," he said. "But you've got one." We chose a cafe 3 blocks from campus. Noon crowd. Clatter loud enough to smother nerves. Charles was already at a small table, hair grayer, posture practiced. "Sloan," he said, rising half an inch. "You look well. I work a lot," I said. Taking the seat that faced the door, he gestured to the counter. "Can I get you anything? I'm fine." He sat. His hands hugged a paper cup like it might float him. "It's been a long time. 2 years," I said. He cleared his throat. "We were surprised when you left. You weren't looking when I did." A flicker crossed his face. "I thought you were with friends. Then life sped up. Communication can grow. Complicated. Communication was one sentence." I said. "You didn't say it." He exhaled slowly. "Your grandmother passed this spring. I'm sorry." I said. "She valued family above all." He said, She hoped we could. He paused, choosing a safer word. Reconnect. Is that why you called in part? What's the other part? He reached into his briefcase and slid a slim folder toward me. Her estate has a trust. For distribution, the heirs need to sign consents. Routine. Routine, I repeated. It is administrative. He said. Your share is held until all signatures are complete. You need mine to complete the picture, I said. It is not about optics. You sent the folder to a cafe. I said. That is optics. He folded his hands. You are our daughter. I was our daughter when I was 18. I said. I sat in the kitchen and washed dishes for a fundraiser I wasn't invited to. On a birthday no one said out loud. He blinked, as if I had misread a memo. You could have told us. I did. I said. I told you by leaving. I told you by silence you taught me. He winced slightly. I did not teach you silence. You modeled it, I said. I learned fast. He touched the folder. There is a significant sum here. I have a job. This is more than diner wages, he said. It could change your plans. My plans changed when no one called. I said. He leaned in, voice dropping. Your mother is trying. Sloane. She was devastated when you vanished. She had a gala that night. I said, she made it. He stared at the cup lid. We handled things poorly. Poorly is a traffic merge. I said, this was a disappearance no one reported. A bead of steam hissed from the espresso machine. Outside the window, a bus sighed and moved on. He took a breath. If you sign, the trust releases within 30 days. There it is. I said, I am not buying you, he said. You are renting my presence, I said, with a signature as collateral. His jaw set, not in anger, but in effort. I want the family together at the reading. Your grandmother would have wanted that. She wanted the idea of us, I said. You want the photograph. I want to fix this. You want me to help you look like you fixed this. He looked older then, not because of the gray, but because the script he brought kept dissolving in his hands. What do you want? I wanted a simple sentence, I said. I did not get it. I'm saying it now. He said, voice roughening. We should have called. We should have noticed. I am sorry. I held the apology in the light, turning it once. It was real in shape and late in temperature. Thank you, I said. I still will not sign today. His eyes sharpened. Is this punishment? It's a boundary, I said. Those are free, even when money is not. He sat back. Your mother will call. She already has my number, I said. He touched the folder again, then pulled it back toward him, as if warming his hands on it. Will you think about it? I will keep working, I said. That is what I do. He stood, then remembered his manners and didn't offer a hug. You look well, he said again, as if the sentence might become true with repetition. I am steady, I said. I walked out before he could ask for a different word. At the curb, Miles pushed off a brick wall and fell into step. How was the meeting? He asked. Administrative, I said. You hungry? I could eat. We turned to the corner. My phone buzzed. Vivian Avery flashed on the screen. I let it ring through to voicemail, then pressed play on speaker. Her voice was velvet wrapped around glass. Your father came home hurt. You did not have to be so cold. We are family. Miles waited. I deleted the message. He nodded once. Lunch, he said. Lunch, I said. We kept walking. The cafe door swung shut behind us, clipping off the past like a sentence that had finally found its period. The email came at dawn, stamped with a firm sender line, Avery and Cole, Estates. I read it twice over the coffee machine. Dear Ms. Avery, pursuant to the administration of the Warren Trust, your consent is required for timely distribution. Please advise availability for document execution. Glow set a mug down. That the money train. It's the paperwork that pretends it is not. You going alone, I'm not bringing witnesses, I said. You do not need witnesses, she said. You need proof to yourself. By noon, I was at the old house. The door opened before I could knock. Vivian filled the frame like a portrait that had learned to breathe. "You look thin," she said. "I hope you're eating." "I am." "Good," she said, stepping back. "Your father is at the office. He thought it best if we talk first. In person. Not voicemail. Progress," I said. We stood in the foyer. The quiet had the old shape. She gestured to the piano room. The lawyer sent the packet. It is very straightforward. Lawyers love that word. She placed a neat stack of pages on the piano lid. "Your grandmother left a considerable amount. The trust is designed to provide for the family. It provides better if everyone signs. That is how trusts work," she said. "I should not have to explain that to you. You did not explain much before," I said. She inhaled through her nose. "You humiliated us with that broadcast." I told the truth. "You broadcast private matters to strangers," she said. "There are ways to heal that do not involve public spectacle. You prefer healing that does not involve speaking." She straightened. "I prefer dignity. I prefer accuracy." She slid a pen toward me. "You can sign here and here. Your share will be transferred within 30 days. It would be foolish to refuse." "I am not here to take," I said. "No one is asking you to take," she replied. "This is your inheritance. I am here to make sure you stop asking me to stand in a picture I do not live in." Her jaw tightened. "Your grandmother wanted unity. My grandmother wanted the feel of it," I said. "You want the photograph." Her eyes flashed. "You always twist my words." "Your words do not bend," I said. "They just circle." She set both palms on the piano. "I raised 3 children. I did my best." "You raised an image," I said. "It was glossy, and it did not include me." "You were independent," she said. "You did not need coddling, I needed acknowledgement. That costs less than coddling." "Stop," she said, voice finally cracking. "Just stop. You left without a word. We woke up and you were gone." I left a silence the size of a phone call, I said. No one filled it. We stared at each other until the air felt crowded. She touched the packet again. "Sign, Sloan. If not for us, then for yourself." I pulled a separate document from my bag. The lawyer had sent that too, tucked behind the consent pages like a secret disclaimer and renunciation of interest. Vivian's eyes narrowed. "What is that A boundary?" I said. Legally phrased. "You cannot be serious." "I am." "You would walk away from a sum that could change your life. My life changed when I stopped asking you to see it." She swallowed. "Your father will be destroyed." "He will be inconvenienced," I said. "He will live. You are punishing us." "I am leaving you with what you always liked," I said, "yourselves." I signed the disclaimer with a slow hand so she could not call it impulse. The pen scratched loud in the quiet room. She tried a different tone, almost gentle. "Take it, Sloan. Use it for school, for a better apartment, for I already pay my rent." I said, "I already go to class. Those things are mine because I earned them." Tears hovered in her eyes and did not fall. "You sound like a stranger. You taught me how." She looked at the signature as if it could be rubbed out. "You will regret this." "I regret different things." She stepped back from the piano, suddenly careful, as if the instrument might say something. "Leave the documents," she said. "I will inform the attorney." I tore a square from the pad in my pocket and wrote a sentence I had carried around for weeks. I pressed the note to the wood above middle C. "You taught me silence. I made it mine." Vivian read it twice. "This is cruel. It is accurate." "I loved you," she said, and it sounded like a testimony delivered under oath. "You loved who you thought I should be," I said. "The girl who could be forgotten and still be grateful." "Get out," she whispered. I picked up my bag. "I am going," I said. "You do not have to ask twice." "At the door," she called after me. "We will challenge this. Your father knows people." "They know paperwork," I said. "So do I." The afternoon air felt thin, like something had been wrung out of it. Ethan waited by the curb, hands in his jacket pockets, eyes steady. "You all right?" he asked. I am done. I said. Done and okay are different. I know. I said. I am both. He looked at the house behind me. Do you need to run or walk? I said. We headed down the street. A light rain started, little needles that cooled my face. Ethan took my bag without asking. I let him keep it. We did not talk for half a block. We did not have to. A week later, the lawyer confirmed receipt of my disclaimer. The trust would close without my name on it. Miles read the email over my shoulder. You really did it, he said. I said I would. You just walked away from more money than most people ever see. I walked toward peace, I said. He grinned. You always pick the expensive route. At the diner, Glow slid a plate toward me. You look lighter, she said. People pay therapists for that kind of glow. I turned down an inheritance. Then that glow's worth at least 6 figures, she said. Don't let anyone tax it. The radio behind the counter played softly. Between songs, a voice announced, next, an interview with Sloane Avery, the student who spoke about invisible daughters. I looked up. They aired it again. Tara's voice filled the diner. Silence can feel safe until you realize it's someone else's weapon. Taking it back is how you start breathing again. Glow clapped once. That's you, girl, right there. I shook my head. That's just a recording. No, she said. That's evidence. Later that night, Ethan walked me home. The rain had stopped, but the streets still shone. He carried my bag like it weighed nothing. You ever think they'll call again? He asked. They already did, I said, this time. I did not answer. He nodded. Good. Some doors are better when they stay shut. On the fire escape outside my window, Miles strummed his guitar, humming something without words. I leaned against the railing beside Ethan. The city hummed below us, steady and low. He said quietly, You built your own quiet. Not built, I said, reclaimed. He smiled. That's harder, I know. I said, that's why it's mine. The last note from Miles's guitar faded into the dark. No echo followed it. Just stillness earned, alive, and finally, mine.